It's estimated that there are over 60 million rats in Britain. If you're unlucky enough to live near a property that's infested, your own home is likely to be affected too. That's exactly what's happened here in Dagenham in Essex, where Council Pest Controller Pete has been brought in to tackle the problem.
Hello, mate.
Hello,
Pest
mate.
control,
Yeah.
all right?
Pete has been battling to control an army of rats invading a resident's home from a vacant house next door. Even with his years of experience, he doesn't understand why there are so many rats.
For some reason, they wanted this house. It's a clean house, it's not a dirty house. I couldn't understand why the rats are moving in here quickly. I've had 28 rats out of this property so far.
Because of the rats, Roy's family's life has been ruined.
The rats have literally chewed through everything. As you can see, the house is clean. We're living next door to a slum. My partner, she's off work through stress. Her daughter has literally moved out. She doesn't want to be here no more because she doesn't know what's going to come out the cupboard. Everyone has their castle to live in, and it's just wrong.
The rats are attracted to the kitchen. They come down from the loft through the cavity walls to seek warmth and food. Pete focuses his attention on the space under the kitchen units.
All my bait bags, and everyone has been chewed through. As you can see, they've chewed all the bait through the bag and took the bait out.
There are many possible ways to solve the problem. Pest Controller Pete needs to be a bit of a detective.
The reason why I've got it on string is because whatever way the string goes on all the baits, it gives me a good identification what way we're going to find the rats and where they're coming in from and where they're leaving from.
For Pete, it's sometimes a case of the more, the merrier.
If there's 1 in 2 rats in the house, it is a nightmare to try and catch them. Really is. But when you've got baits like this being eaten every day, and I've done 15 bags of bait in this house, and that's a lot of bait, there's a lot of rats because they're competing for the food. So where they're competing, it's making my job easier to catch the rats because I'm poisoning them quick. Bang, 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 and using traps as well.
Pete is going to have to use all his experience to stay one step ahead of the rats. For Roy and his family, they must be eradicated. They're coming from a derelict house next door. As he looks under the units in the kitchen, it's Geronimo.
There you go. It's one of our culprits. This rat's been caught for about an hour and a half, roughly, by how soft it is. There's no rigor mortis setting.
Pete has to know everything about the lifestyle of the rats. It's a case of know your enemy.
This one's a male. You will hear the males rucking and fighting and scrabbling over the food. The females won't. They just tend to want to be in a group and eat the food together and share it. Males are sort of rucking, hear that squeaking, sort of noise all the time. Which we have heard in here when I've actually put the bait in.
Pete learns from the way the rat died how it lived.
When you catch them around the head like this one, it's telling me basically that there was more than one rat running along here on the food. 9 out of 10 a rat will use its tail and try and flick the bait literally off the trap, and then if it gets caught on the trap with its tail, the actual tail part, sectioned from roughly about here, will come apart and will actually come off. It's like a lizard. When it gets caught or you pick a lizard by its tail comes off. Exactly the same with a rat. The rat does the same, and that's how he gets away.
Pete's won a small battle today, but the war is far from over. Homeowner Roy is still upset because it wasn't his fault.
You tell people, they say, oh, what's happening? Oh, we've got rats in our house. The first thing they think is, oh, another dirty family. They don't see what we have to live with. We keep our house tidy. We spent a lot of money doing how we want to do it, how we want to live. And through someone's negligence, our house is ruined. We try our hardest to keep our own area clear. We sweep the front out. Our dog goes to the toilet in the garden. It's picked up so we don't upset our neighbours. And it just ruined our lives.
After rebaiting and resetting the traps, Pete can call it a day. He'll be back tomorrow to check the traps yet again. Since we filmed, in Dagenham, the score was 45 dead rats to 0, and Pete is determined there's going to be no replay. In Dagenham, the householder's distress call means an unexpected and risky challenge for Pest Controller Pete.
getting late in the evening now, but we had to leave this one a bit late. We're doing a wasp nest. It's very rare to get them this time of year. Usually they've died out and the females all gone somewhere to hibernate. But this one's really active.
We're having to keep the bedroom window closed all the time. I noticed them coming off the roof and near the gutter and then going in, and there were so many of them. My son-in-law tried to put a bit of filler, actually, to stop them getting in, but because there were so many of them trying to get in, it was a bit dodgy and he'd get stung. So he did his best, but it didn't seal him off.
But Pete is a professional.
It's down to me. If anyone's going to get stung, it's going to be me who's going to get stung, and it's most probably down to my stupidity. So if I take the precautions right and measures right, I shouldn't get stung.
The wasp's nest is in the loft. The trouble is, they still think it's summer, and they're still very much ready for action.
As you can see the size of the wasp here, it's a female. The workers are half the size of these. They pack more venom and more sting. Apart from that, they all hurt, regardless if they're big or small.
Pete has the advantage of surprise, for now.
Getting a bit leery now. The wasps, they're all going to be on us in a minute, and I've just been stung on the leg, and that hurts. I'm going to isolate the nest with just ordinary pyrethrum spray. This will stop the wasps when if they do come out. They'll just stay back hopefully in the nest. Right, so now I'll get my D5. This will kill them. Wipe them right out. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a little incision.
Rather him than me.
I can feel the wasps in there now. So what I'm going to do is then fill the hole up with fire cam. I'm also going to put one at the bottom here. Well, the actual fire cam's in there, and what's it doing? It just I don't know. It just literally mullers them. They just can't stand it. There's one there coming out with fire cam all on him. Look, and you see, look how it's reacting. Look, it's not really happy, is it? Okay. Basically, it takes about 2 hours for the fire cam to work in the nest and kill them all outright.
But Pete wants to remove the nest straight away.
It could go wrong. Everything can go wrong. You know, it could be. I could pull the nest a little bit and it'll break somewhere, and then they'll all come out at me. So I've got to be a bit careful. Okay, what I'm going to do is whack that over like that.
It's often said a wasp's sting in winter is more powerful.
I've just been stung again.
Despite being stung twice, Pete gets the nest into the bag.
Leave that there a minute. As you can see, what with the spray I've put in there as well, they're sort of going a bit mental in there, buzzing around.
For Pete, just another victory.
You're going to be one happy bunny now. The wasps are all in there. You can see the size of it.
Oh.
In there. So I'll see you next year for another one.
Oh, I hope not.
Thanks to Pete, one Dagenham family can get back to normal.
I can leave my windows open there.
And leave Pete to examine his prize.
It's amazing. It's all done on segments. Look, as you can see, look, there's like little joins there which holds it together.
Now he makes a surprising discovery.
You can actually see that we've still got some more grubs to hatch out, as you can see here, which is really amazing for this time of year. They're going on about the ice cap melting and all that. Well, I mean, I know nothing about all that. I'm no scientist, but I know that all the insects this year has been going on longer than it has done the last few years we've been doing pest control. Get that put away. Get ready to be incinerated.
The future for the planet may look bleak, but not for Pete. He's off home. In a Grimsby council property, a family has left and squatters have been in. Now it's up to our clean team, Sean, Darren and Steve, to make the place fit for a new family. The first job is to do a risk assessment.
We don't know what's in there, we don't know the state of the property. It's a case of just pull up and have a quick look, see what's in there.
Some of the family possessions are still here, and there's grim evidence that squatters with all their problems have been here too.
Oh, it's definitely been a lot of vandalism going on in here. Front room, middle room's pretty much smashed up, all the furniture's been smashed up. Yeah, in the kitchen, they've smashed all the units, smashed the window, radiator's been ripped off, so chances are the plumbing central heating system's been ripped out. Obviously breakage on the door, doors are totally ruined, so all them will need to come off.
Upstairs, it's clear the squatters weren't exactly house proud. the lads must tread warily.
Before you get stuck in, it's just a case of go round any signs of any drug use, any needles, obvious signs of them sometimes is in bins. So no, it seems to basically go around survey it before you get the lads in here, because obviously when they get in, they just want to get cracking and get it done.
Darren enters what was once a child's bedroom, but there's nothing innocent about this.
This is just pure filth. You can even smell, it's got a real strong smell of urine, to be honest with you. I mean, look at that. I mean, would you really let anyone live like that? It's just disgusting. I don't know what's behind it yet. Have a quick look. It's mainly just toys underneath it, bits of food waste. Someone's been having themselves a little picnic. It's a case of just be careful, have a look round, survey what there might be before we get in here and clear it properly, and look through the toy boxes, anything sharp, and go from there.
As Darren picks his way through the rubbish, it soon becomes clear his caution is well founded.
Yes, like I say, when you're surveying, you've got to be very careful. Come across the first needle, we don't know what it's been used for, but we can guess it's drugs of some sort.
The squatters who moved in here had one interest and one interest only: drugs.
There's more needles in here. I've been using that to tie their arm up for when they inject or wherever they're injecting to. Yeah, there's loads in here. Simple example, you get a normal carrier bag where you can just pick it up with your hands, needle straight in you, and this one's actually is used as well.
Rob has now completed his risk assessment. It's going to be dangerous. Back in the abandoned Grimsby property, Darren and his team are ready to clear away all the rubbish. Until recently, this place was home to some drug-using squatters. That was obvious from all the needles.
It's not that dirty compared to others we've done. I just think that somebody's actually smashed the place up, maybe for the fun.
The last official tenants here were a family, and many of their possessions are still here. Darren and the lads try to piece together what happened.
I'm just more nosy, I am. I look for stuff of so I can pry into people's lives.
Now Steve finds another clue.
Photo album. Why would you leave something like that behind? You'd definitely take that with you, wouldn't you? All the kids in there and everything.
Nice Christmas hat for you.
Oh, lovely.
The squatters have left no needles on the ground floor, but upstairs it's different.
There's two more in here. We'll just carefully place them in the bucket, syringe bucket. This is the worst of it, when you actually get them in with a load of rubbish. It's dirty plasters as well, obviously. A bit of blood. Yeah, there's quite a few in here.
The smallest prick from one of these needles could have serious consequences.
You just never know what you can get. If you're lucky, you might not get anything. If you're unfortunate, you get AIDS or hepatitis.
Obviously, we've got some more, what we saw earlier.
There are needles everywhere, but some of them are out of sight.
In the mattresses, normally what happens here, I mean, I don't know, they'll inject themselves while they're laid in bed, and you often find the needles actually inside the mattress, and yeah, that can be pretty dangerous, and it's very hard to spot as well.
Guys?
Yeah?
I'll bring the sharps box, mate.
Yeah.
Another one yet again in the kids' bedroom.
I think that's all the needles in here. Now we can treat it as general waste.
It looks like the contents of that house, to be honest with you. Chicken roll, with Branston pickle.
That's actually looks all right for today. Normally he has Marmite, cheese spread with something else. And I'll tell you now, that lunchbox has not been cleaned out for about a week.
In Leicester, council property manager Steve is dealing with the clean-up problems after negligent tenants have left. He has to work out how to refurbish the property and get it back onto the rental market.
We've got this top floor tower block flat today. I think the previous tenant's been evicted, so we're just going to have a look inside and see what we can find.
He's only just gone through the door when he's hit by the smell from the bathroom.
Quite disgusting in there, to be honest. There's a lot of dog mess on the floor in the bathroom, so it looks like she's had animals not allowed within tower blocks. That's probably one of the reasons why she's no longer here.
Now onto the living area.
This is obviously somebody's living room, but from the state of the sofa and the chairs, I don't know how they've ever been comfortable in here. Bikes everywhere, they've just been doing bike repairs, mobile phones. It's not my idea of a living room, just a collection of rubbish really that you find at a tip. You do wonder how somebody's lived in this property. Well, this is how people live, unfortunately.
Steve has to see flats like this every day, and it does have an effect on his home life.
The way I go on to a girlfriend, I'm always moaning at her about cleaning. It's probably because I see things like this that I get a bit obsessive compulsive at home, and as soon as a bit of dirt or crumb around, I'll be hoovering up around her when she's eating her lunch and stuff.
Refurbishing this flat poses serious problems, not least the fact that it's on the 17th floor.
We might have a problem with that window. We're going to have to try and get that emulsion off. It costs a lot of money to get scaffolding up here to replace that, so it depends if it's gloss or emulsion, whether it'll come off or not. That's going to be a nightmare job for somebody cleaning that.
The final room he looks at is the kitchen.
Graffiti again on the units. We've got some more graffiti on the door there. They obviously didn't have a piece of paper to write it on, so the nearest thing to hand was the door. This will need a new kitchen. The units, by the looks of it, they're beyond repair, so we'll change all the units. New sink, new worktops.
Steve has to get this flat cleared quickly so he can start the refurbishment as soon as possible. Prospective tenants are already queuing up, so once again he's going to call on the services of Suicide Sid and his A-team. Sid acquired his nickname because of the zealous way in which he clears properties. Suicide and the boys can empty a 3-bedroom house in around 30 minutes, so there'd be a bit of a doddle.
You're limited spaces on the lift. You know what I mean, you can't bring anything downstairs because it's a fire hazard. And with Dave coming inside the lift, you can't get so much in it, can you?
They've used these ones before, and that doesn't inspire confidence.
I hope the lift don't get stuck. It does break down very often.
This one does, doesn't it?
But this time, hey-ho, the lift is working, and they can make a quick start. First, they remove the council's protective door.
The bins have got to come in and out, and also the chairs and the sofas have also got to come out this way, so we can't get them out with this on, so it's got to come off.
Once the door is off, the problems are exposed. Sadly, they've seen this all too often.
I would say this is about the average
That's
for a
an
bad
average,
flat.
yeah, for a bad flat.
After years in the job, Sid is still baffled as to why people do this.
I don't understand how people can live like this, really. Apparently she was an alcoholic. I mean, looked at it, you'd think it was a boys' flat, wouldn't you? With all the push bikes and that, but you wouldn't believe it's a woman lived here. Maybe she had a fetish for bikes, I don't know. Makes you wonder where she sat and slept. There's no bed in here or anything.
As always, it's the big stuff first, so the boys grab the sofa, or what's left of it.
What do you add to this then? You got some use out of this, didn't you? But there again, it's alcoholics, isn't it? They don't spend money on furniture or anything, they just drink all the time, isn't it? You know what I mean? So they'll just put their head down anyway, wouldn't they, really?
Usually the fridge in these properties is horrible, but amazingly, Sid doesn't have to hold his breath.
It's not bad, actually.
With the big items cleared, the boys are making good progress, and there's time for a spot of reminiscence.
You just don't know what you're going to come up against. You know what I mean? Some places you could come to an house or a flat and it's immaculate. When I say immaculate, you could walk in there and actually live in the places, you know what I mean? But then some places you get like this. I mean, we went to a flat the other week. The bloke had put all brand new carpets down and never moved in. And we've just gone there, took all the carpets away and just crushed them all. Pointless, isn't it? This house we've done, and we found these photos of a woman in bondage, and a couple of weeks later Dave went to the co-op and actually bumped into the woman, didn't you?
Yeah, in Pew. I can't say too much because my wife will with me. But I did say I recognise you.
Yeah, with no clothes on.
Things seem to have been going rather well. But then there's the bathroom.
As you can see, as you walk in, it looks like the dog's been living here. Been there a few days actually, because it's dry, look. It's quite rock hard. Doesn't look like she used the bath or anything, does it? It looks like the dog's been using it. Caution wet floors, cleaning in progress. Is that what she calls cleaning? How's about that then?
Thanks to the boys' hard work, the flat's looking a whole lot better. But will property manager Steve agree? Sid is resigned to the fact he'll be back here again.
We do go to an house twice, 3 times a year sometimes. Why you want to move in for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, then like you move back out again. Plus you're leaving all your furniture what you brought in. I mean, there's people out there who ain't got nothing, absolutely nothing. And yet these people can just walk in an house, fill it with all their furniture and just walk out in a couple of months and leave it all. Then send someone else in and do the same again. We'll be back again.
But Sid's always got Dave to keep his spirits up.
You know what they say about fat guys, don't you? They may have small ones, but look at the weight pushing at home.
This is tough work for tough men. But there are problems.
No, I've done one of my nails.
Since we filmed, in Leicester, the property on the 17th floor was soon re-let.
In Barking, Peter the pest controller has arrived at a premises to continue his confrontation with one of the country's most unwelcome household guests.
Right, we're in Barking and I've got a cockroach job. I was called out yesterday and the infestation's quite bad, so I've got to come back and sort it out more thorough and seriously.
Cockroaches are one of the most difficult pests to eradicate. Legend has it that they are the only creatures that could survive a nuclear holocaust. They also spread diseases like dysentery, typhoid and gastroenteritis. All in all, a revolting and formidable opponent for Peter.
I come here yesterday and I found loads of cockroaches, all different sizes, from nymphs to adults, on all the cupboard areas. If we can have a look in this one here. As you can see, we've got a couple of cockroaches down the side here. Most jobs I'd go to, you only see telltale signs, which are like all black dots from the faeces, which gives you evidence that there is cockroaches there. They're more nocturnal. If you've got any big infestation, as we've got in this kitchen, you will actually see them running around during the day, as I will point them out going around, because I can see a few now. If you can see one, you can identify the species, which we've got the German cockroach here. But this house, for some reason, if you can see loads of them running around, which you can, you know that the infestation's been going on for a long time. If you come here at night, the floor would actually get up and literally move. All the cupboard areas will move. I've spoke to the owner as well, and she said it's a nightmare.
For Peter, and most importantly his clients, to have a chance at all of getting rid of the cockroaches, understanding their life cycle and how they live is vital to potential success.
I'll carry this around for the people. As you see, the owner here, and I'll explain, like, there's the adults, which we have here, and then you've got the egg capsule, which is that at the back, which they carry. Then you've got your nymph, and then your nymph stage, as you can see, as they're getting bigger, as they molt out, they get bigger and bigger. And then on the last molt, they produce the wing cases, and then that's how you get the adults, which then sexually mature for breeding again.
This life cycle lasts about 3 months, and in that time, a single female will release thousands of eggs to add to the infestation. To get rid of cockroaches, the only successful way is the use of poison. The one thing you mustn't ever do is tread on them.
You'd never ever crush the cockroach, especially females. If you stamp on them, you're dispersed in the eggs. The eggs are going to hatch out anyway. So you don't want to spread the infestation even bigger.
Peter, the council's pest controller, is preparing to unleash his tube of poison on the unsuspecting infestation of cockroaches. To them, though, they'll initially think it's Christmas.
If a kid wanted a lollipop or see any sweets, they would run for the sweets before they would eat their dinner. And that's the same with this, which I can actually show you in this house by putting a little drop down and watching them run to it straight away.
The cockroaches are normally nocturnal, but it just takes a little drop of the poison to coax them out of their slumbers.
It's secondary poisoning, Once the adults eat it, or the nymphs eat it, if they die, and an adult will eat another adult, which is dead, or eat a nymph, which is dead, then they will get secondary poisoning and they will die.
As Peter starts to inject the sweet-tasting poison wherever he can that's safe to the children in the house, it gives him a little time to reflect.
I love this job. It's one of the best jobs I've found on destroying stuff. I do a lot of hunting anyway. I've got firearms, I do a lot of deer stalking, but the best thing I enjoy more than anything is catching rats. I know it sounds silly about going hunting, but I do like conservation as well, especially the endangered species. I mean, if the German cockroach becomes endangered and we found them, I'd try and set up some form of group and try and get them back together again.
After injecting the poison all over the kitchen, it's going to be about 4 weeks before Peter knows whether his plan has worked, but he's sure it will.
All the cockroaches will go, and I'm very confident. Come back in 4 weeks and you'll see a difference. You've got to be confident in this game, because if you're not, you're letting yourself down and you're letting the public down. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for, to help the public.
A flat in a Gloucester council house has recently been abandoned. City Inspector Andy Whitewood has come to inspect.
So we're just going to have a look and see what it's like. Oh dear, not one of the best ones.
Bizarrely beneath all the mess is a recently renovated flat.
I've got a dog, unless the entire family was eating dog food. Goodness me. But there we have got evidence of flies and maggots. Oh dear me. It gets worse.
Andy knows nothing of what happened here, but whoever lived here cleared off in a hurry.
If people live like this and think it's some sort of statement against somebody else and they're the ones that are going to suffer, because preparing food in this sort of conditions can't have been healthy.
No more so than life in the living room. Andy finds clues about some of the characters in this squalid story.
Oh, that's not the former owner.
It seems there was a dog.
Excrement.
And a couch potato.
He was a drinker and a smoker. It looks like it just gets even better as we go through.
The dog mess is bad enough, but there could be worse to come.
God blimey. Hasn't been flushed for a while by the looks of it. But I mean, there's all the cleaning stuff here. It's just a shame that it never seemed to have got used.
Andy already knows the previous tenant was a dog owner, but just what kind of owner soon becomes clear.
Oh dear, I think we found the dog kennel. I don't think the dog went for regular walks. God, straight. I mean, this just shows a total lack of respect for anybody's health, including their own. Oh dear me. Yeah, the dog used to open the handles with his teeth by the looks of it.
Andy's seen enough to make his assessment.
We're looking at about £1,000 to clear it, and while it's empty, it's a potential target as well for squatters and vandals. The quicker we can get it relet, the better.
And in order to do that, Andy will call on the services of extreme cleaners Dave and Asa.
A lot of excrement and rubbish in there. Some nasty food surprises as well in the kitchen. So you should be finished in an hour or so.
Back in Gloucester, extreme cleaners Dave and Asa are preparing to tackle the filthy flat.
Hopefully it's not a smelly one.
But Asa soon discovers that his optimism is misplaced.
Oh, it stinks of dog.
Oh, you can smell it as soon as you come through the door, can't you?
They quickly identify the source of the terrible smell.
Oh, this is where the dog's been staying.
Yeah. Oh, I can smell it.
As dog owners themselves, Dave and Asa find it hard to understand.
Oh, it's disgusting. I mean, I wouldn't put my dog, lock him up in a room like this. Well, I wouldn't lock him up in a room full stop, but the dog needs exercise, it needs fresh air. Basically, it needs to poo on the grass, doesn't it?
It's just not right.
You find claw marks at the doors and he's trying to get out. It is sad, real sad.
But whatever the reason for this sordid situation, there's a job to be done. Asa is new to filth fighting.
So I was doing 3 years at college doing bricklaying. Obviously, all the the building industry's gone down and there's no work going. So I've got an application form, just went and filled it in, and obviously they like me because I'm still working.
He's already experienced the worst the job has to offer.
Well, the worst I have done is it's definitely got to be suicide cleanup. It isn't nice to clean up that much blood and everything, but all you just got to do is think about, oh, it's not really blood, clean it up, try and get it up. You just get on with it. Just think of your wage packets at the end of the week.
Dave put some abandoned air freshener to good use. He's been filth fighting longer than Asa.
That helps as well.
It's a job he literally fell into.
I became out of work after an accident, cleaning windows on a ladder, and I'd fallen off, broken my hip, and I was ringing around for jobs. As soon as I was able, fit enough to go back to work again, and here I am 2 years later. In my view, I think it's the best thing I ever did.
But sometimes the work can present some very unusual challenges.
Some jobs you go to and you just wish you hadn't gone there. For example, in a house we did in Cheltenham, and the sister was sat on the stairs crying. They wanted all members of the house gone, everything gone. I just cried all the time we were there. She just sat on the top step. And you've got to work around that. It's, you know, it brings it home to you, doesn't it? Yeah, it's an unusual bed in the living room, isn't it?
Dave and Asa move out the larger items. It's clear they work well together as a team.
Well, if it wasn't for the guys we work with, I wouldn't be here now. They're excellent, you know, and they know I've got dodgy hips, so certain jobs I can't do. The lads are there straight away, like, you know, they don't even let me try it. And that's excellent, like, you know what I mean? It's a team thing. So, and that's what we all do, like, you know, we all muck in together.
This job usually begs more questions than answers, but today is a remarkable exception. Outside, a neighbour appears with news of the abandoned dog.
A friend of ours knew the owner. They can't look after the dog, so they said, would your mum like to have a dog to look after? And I said, yeah, that'd help her out, because she's a pensioner, and we thought that would do her good. And the owner used to go out, we believe, sort of like 8 o'clock in the morning to about 9 o'clock at night, left the dog behind, and of course she used to howl quite a bit. We had to take her to the vets because she had ear infection and eye infections. She had lack of hair on her tail. She's actually on her way over, so we see her on a regular basis, at least 3 or 4 times a week.
Heartened by the rescue story, the lads continue to clear and look forward to meeting the lucky mutt. Back in Gloucester, the lads are putting the finishing touches to the abandoned council flat.
What we do is we neutralise all the bacteria, all the smells for the next family that moves into the flat. So at least then we know it's practically germ-free. And hopefully the smell of the dogs will be gone.
At the end of the day, there's satisfaction in a job well done.
It's looking good. Everything's gone well.
Nothing remains of the previous tenant or the abandoned dog. A new tenant can soon be found. But now, amazingly, an old one returns.
Hello, where you been then? Hello. Oh yeah, where you been? As you can see now, she just enjoys a lot of fuss and love, and this is one thing that we thought that Mum could provide for her, because Mum hasn't got anybody else to really to worry about.
She always gives you a nice welcome when you get back. Very lovable.
She's perfectly happy, maybe slightly overweight due to the treats that we give her.
So in the end, it's just another shaggy dog story.
That's a wrap.
And cut.
Cut. Tally ho, let's go.
First to Aberystwyth in Wales, where extreme cleaners Johnny, Peter and Carl have been called out to clear a flat, or is it a drugs den? They've been warned that they've got to be careful. Immediately the signs are worrying. The lads have been told this isn't going to be a straightforward job.
We've been told there might be some drug use, and this looks like the room that it's been done in, so you just got to be careful. There's no needles hiding behind any sofas or cushions or anything.
Sadly, it seems, these drug users were also parents.
The kids' room, yeah.
The previous occupiers have left in a hurry. Not that they're the sort who would have cleaned up anyway.
Just a lot of clothes on the floor, babies' clothes.
If there are infected needles here, Johnny wants to make sure they can be handled safely.
A lot of rubbish in the kitchen.
This drawer proves the point. Danger.
There's a needle.
Forewarned is forearmed. Johnny is proud of his work.
Don't mind doing jobs like this. When you see the result at the end, it makes you happy when you go home, so at least you can say you've changed, hopefully, someone's life, making the place cleaner.
Back in Wales, Johnny, Peter and Kyle are having to tread very carefully indeed. This was a drugs den.
I'm just making sure that there's nothing in here that's sharp that could prick me.
Rifling through the rubbish, it's now clear what happened. The previous occupiers were told to leave.
Alright, explains now that they've been evicted and they've obviously been given the notice to get out, to get their stuff out as well, but they also haven't even bothered trying to get their stuff out.
It's no surprise that the heavy use of drugs here has taken its toll on normal life. It all could have been so different if they'd been able to lick the drug habit. They disregarded their health as much as they disregarded their home.
And I've got small needles up here again. Might have been used, still got the needle in it. Found another needle. It's on the back of this cupboard. It's got the covering on, but by the looks of it, there might be more. Found one in the kitchen, found in here, so it could be anywhere.
These needles could still be harmful.
Well, you never know who's been injecting themselves with that needle, do you? So, it could be anything. Hepatitis, HIV, anything like that, really.
There's evidence of lives falling apart, and the evidence hasn't been destroyed.
I just found some photos of someone with a bomb, which is used for like drugs and stuff.
Got to be careful all the time because you don't know the houses you're going into, what the people are up to or what they do. Good mother or father thing to do is it, doing drugs around your kids, especially when by the looks of it, it's hard drugs. It's quite disgusting, really.
Like, it makes me quite angry to see this sort of stuff going on, around children. There's not much we can do about it.
In Aberystwyth, Johnny, Peter and Kyle see an end in sight. The drugs den has almost been cleared. It's looking good.
Not far off there now. We've cleaned all the other rooms. It's just these sofas.
Just having a look to make sure there's no sharps in the sofa before we actually carry it down.
There are inevitably ups and downs in this job, but at least there's variety.
It's just something different every day, It's the longest you're at a job is a couple of days, really. So when you come in the morning, it's going to be something different, whether it's window cleaning or something like this, blood jobs, crime scene places. It's just different all the time. It's pretty good.
Johnny and his team think they've got the measure of this place, but there's one more surprise.
Looks like the handle off a pickaxe or sledgehammer or something.
Pickaxes and needles, it's all in the day's work, and it all has to be cleared.
Just got a carpet left in there, then just give all the rooms sanitised to kill any germs.
At last, the property is safe for the decorators to come in and renovate. It's another transformation from the horrors of the past to healthy living.
Job well done, yes.
We need crime fighters. They make the world a better as well as a cleaner place.
Across town, AJ is the man from the council charged with clearing the council properties after Alison and Steve have completed their work. Today, AJ has arrived at a flat where a man has died. His job is to assess the state of the flat so he can brief the clean-up team and get the apartment cleared out, refurbished and let to another tenant as soon as possible. First impressions don't look that good.
It's jam-packed at the moment. First thing I'll obviously look for is if there's any fleas in the property. They tend to jump on white items. So far so good.
As AJ moves through into the bathroom, things are getting worse.
Oh, pleasant ain't the word. It's a bit disgusting, really. You don't want to see anyone live like this, really, do you? But that's the way the society is at the moment. People don't believe what I actually see. You can tell people everything, saying how bad it was, but seeing is believing, really. I mean, that's when people sort of realise how bad it really is in here.
Next up is the bedroom, a sad and revolting vision of how the old man lived and died.
Looking at it, it looks like if his this is where he's passed away. Yeah. Sometimes it feels spooky. You know, when you know somebody's died in the property, you get these like tingles. But it's part of the job.
The sitting room is full to bursting with all manner of clutter and rubbish. This is often the norm with single occupancy flats. The tenants often tend to hoard the weirdest items over many years until they can't even get around their own flat. All that AJ needs to do now is photograph the contents before his clean-up team arrives. In Leicester, AJ's crack clearance team have arrived to clear out the dead man's flat. AJ has to get the council property cleared and available to rent as soon as possible, as there are now new targets he needs to meet, only allowing a maximum of 21 days before the flat must be let out to a new council tenant. Fortunately, this time there's no danger of needles or drug paraphernalia in the property. Dennis and Sean can get stuck in, and when they get going, there's no stopping them. Everything that isn't nailed down in the property ends up in their bins.
These are all his personal items, really. I know it's sad, like someone's died in the room, but you're in the job every day. It's a thing that doesn't pass through your mind anymore. You come into it and you get an album of photos, and it's sad, really, because there's a lot of memory there. Wedding photos, your granddad, your parents. Once it's gone in here, it's gone.
With the speed these properties need to get turned around, sometimes the boys can get there a little early.
We've done an house, and actually walked in, and there was a woman there flicking over the telly, and we've come to empty her. And she should have been there, like, I mean. That's what you come up against, really.
To make their life more difficult, often the lads can't park their dustbin lorry near the property, and this flat is no exception. Most of their time is spent taking the bins and other heavy items to the lorry, a problem that slows their progress enormously. Either way, though, within a matter of hours, this flat is devoid of any trace of the old man. A sad but necessary conclusion of the life the gentleman led.
The whole place is empty now. Now what we can do is basically check out all the doors, the windows, the flooring, whether it needs painting or not.
Even though the place looks pretty clean, AJ needs to install a new kitchen, a new bathroom, new light sockets and give the whole flat a lick of paint before the next tenant can move in. Often AJ will recharge the previous tenant for any damage to the property, even if it means getting payment out of the deceased person's estate. But on this occasion, he puts it all down to wear and tear and there's nothing to pay. Within just a few days of making the renovations, the flat will be let to a new and hopefully grateful tenant.